Chair of the Licensing Subcommittee today, and I would like to welcome you all to today's subcommittee meeting. This is not a public meeting, but a meeting that the public can attend. Before we commence, I would like to outline the domestic arrangements for the meeting. We're not expecting a fire practice today, is that still the case?
It's Friday. There'll probably be a fire alarm test at around 11 o'clock,
right,
which does repeat a number of times. So don't panic unless it doesn't stop.
Yeah. So scrub that there's not a practice today. I always check that because often something is in there. So there will be a fire alarm practice today. Don't panic. It will sound several times and we'll stay seated. If there is a fire, and it is a proper fire alarm, we will leave the chamber, turn right and proceed down the stairway and through the emergency exit on the ground floor. The assembly point is in the public square in front of Cast beyond the fountain. Is it echoey? The mic's very echoey. Is it echoey too? Yeah. Is there any settings we can change?
Just hold it maybe just a little bit.
Okay. Is that better? Yeah, okay. Anybody with mobility issues should wait in the refuge area near the lift and use the intercom to call for assistance. This meeting will be recorded and published on the Council's website. By entering the Council chamber, you are accepting that you will be recorded and your images will be retained and broadcast by the Council. If anyone intends to record today's meeting, please ensure that this does not disturb the conduct of the meeting. Please ensure that your mobile phones are switched to silent or switched off. Thank you. I will commence the meeting. Item number 1, apologies for absence. Do we have any apologies?
Councillor Chapman.
Thank you. Item 2, exclusions of the public and press. There are no exempt items on the agenda. Is that agreed? Okay. Sorry, I just. However, we're pleased note that the subcommittee goes into deliberation to determine the decisions. All parties, public and press, will be excluded from the meeting. They then will be brought back into the meeting to hear the subcommittee's decision. Item 3, declarations of interest. Do we have any declarations? No? Okay. Item 4, minutes of the licensing subcommittee meetings held on the 29th of October and the 5th of November 2024. Can the minutes be moved as a true and accurate record? Seconded? Thank you. Is that noted? Thank you. Item 5 and the substance of the meeting. We are here today to discuss an application for a new premise licence to Hoston Road, Carcroft, Doncaster, DN6 8DL. All parties who have indicated they wish to address the subcommittee will be given the opportunity to speak. The procedure we will be following is as set out in the report. Has everyone had a copy? Have you had a copy of the report? Yeah. So everyone's seen that. Can I now invite the licensing office representative to introduce the item? Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. This hearing is to determine an application for a new premise licence in respect of 2 Hoston Road, Carcroft. The premises concerned is currently a cafe. The application is for a new premise licence to permit the sale of alcohol for consumption on the premises only. I can confirm that the application has been correctly advertised and that the mandatory consultation has taken place. I can confirm that all required notices of the hearing have been given and all parties have been made aware of the procedure to be followed at the hearing, both in the notes that accompany the notice of hearing and in the hearing papers. The options available to the committee today when making its determination are detailed in the report. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I will now ask the applicant, which is yourself, to address the subcommittee. It's a bit of a scary room, isn't it, really? But don't worry about it. Emma's quite scary, but the rest of us are all right generally. So if you just want to try and feel at ease and just tell us about your application. Thank you.
So my application is to open a small elegant wine bar at 2 Hoston Road in Carcroft. As stated, it was previously, a cafe, tea rooms. They also ran a BYOB policy, so there was alcohol consumed on the premises previously. I think we've got 2 objections against it. The overall response from the community has been quite positive towards it, and obviously I'm here today to hopefully discuss those representations that have been put forward and put my views across.
Thank you. I will now ask the subcommittee members if they wish to ask any questions in relation to the applicant's submission. Any questions from anybody? Councillor?
Yes, good morning. I know the place quite well. I never actually went in, but I live in Sprobber and I regularly go to the Asda, so I do know exactly where it is. I just wondered, have you estimated from a business point of view that it will be a popular venue?
I have, yes. I did a lot of research into, obviously, the area, the community. I'm aiming for a mature customer base. I think a lot of people were initially worried that it was going to be a nightclub bar, which it's not at all. Everybody is welcome. I'm not going to prejudice against anyone. However, people will come that won't enjoy the environment there. They're probably looking for something a little more lively. There is a vast range of age in areas and in local areas. As I stated, there has been a large positive view for it to be what I am proposing for it to be, a wine bar. I'm also looking at, and I know that the previous business did it as well, hosting event evenings, so like wreath making, having people come in and do I think it's art, sip and pizza and things like that, and it was extremely popular before, which is why I'm wanting to enrol it in with what I'm wanting to do so that I can continue to provide the community with that, because I know it was very popular.
Any other members want to ask any questions? Councillor?
Just one little one. I think in one of the objections it says about the smoking area being outside the adjoining property. Would there be a possibility out on the other side of the building, away from the adjoining house?
There will, yes. There are 2, possibly 3 areas for there to be a smoking area. I did in notes to speak today say that I'm more than happy to discuss with residents as to where we find best to place, obviously, the ashtrays in the smoking area to be, providing it is agreed with as well, South Yorkshire Fire and Rescue, to ensure that there's no safety concerns. But there is 3 areas that could be possibly used as a smoking area, yes. One is obviously the front of the premises. Another is at the rear of the premises where the fire doors are on the floor plan. That's a park covered, quite large area. And then the property also owns another building behind that, which is a toilet and I think some storage cupboard and everything. There's also the area behind that. So there is other areas for smoking areas to be placed, yes. And I'm more than happy, like I say, to speak with residents and say, where best do you think, less disruption to yourself, shall we put this smoking area?
Thank you. Any more? No. No? Okay. Just sort of to follow on from that, really, again, a relatively minor thing in some respects, but and I don't think we would want to condition it, just to ensure that glasses aren't taken outside. If you had a large patio area, I'd be looking to condition that you use plastic, but I think it's impractical to, if someone just wants to go out for a cigarette, to, but I would, I'd want you to be, as best as you can, as strict as you can in terms of glass and bottles going outside, especially if it does remain at the front, the smoking area. Sorry.
It has already been imposed.
Just give us a second, would you? Sorry, just let these people settle in. Sorry about that. Right, can we just hold that? I just need to go through the housekeeping now. I'm not sure how keen I am about this, if I'm perfectly honest with you, but what's
the situation? I can do a couple of just bear with 1 second.
yeah. Can we just adjourn for 5 minutes, please? Is that all right? Yeah. Okay, so we've been joined by some members of the public, so I need to go through the housekeeping again, just to ensure that everybody knows where we are. So I'll go through it in the normal formal way. Good morning, I'm Councillor Dave Short, Chair of the Licensing Subcommittee today, and I would like to welcome you to today's Licensing Subcommittee meeting. This is not a public meeting, but a meeting that the public can attend. Before we commence, I would like to outline the domestic arrangements for the meeting. There will be a fire practice today, which will be around 11 o'clock. However, if informed that this is not a drill, we need to leave the chamber, turn right and proceed down the stairway and through the emergency exit on the ground floor. The assembly point is in the public square in front of Cast beyond the fountain. Anybody with mobility issues should wait in the refuge area near the lift and use the intercom to call for assistance. This meeting will be recorded and published on the Council's website. By entering the council chamber, you are accepting that you will be recorded and your images will be retained and broadcast by the council. If anyone intends to record today's meeting, please ensure that this does not disturb the conduct of the meeting. Please ensure that your mobile phones are turned off or on silent. So, having run through the housekeeping again for those who have joined us later, I think we pick up where we left off, and do you know where you were exactly? If you want to start a little bit before, if you want to, however your speech there was your presentation there was disrupted. So if you want to start a little bit earlier in what you were saying, or you want to pick up from where you left off, that's up to you.
I was just about to respond to the discussion regarding plastic cups, obviously on the outside. It's already been put to me by South Yorkshire Police that no, obviously glass containers are to go outside the premises anyway. I don't plan on having any outdoor seating. So obviously, as you said, if people are going outside to smoke, in complete agreement, no glasses will be taken outside.
I was just going to ask another question from a point of view of the timing. Obviously, it is a residential area, and it's a question really of if we were mindful to grant the licence, would there be a willingness to accommodate a slightly earlier close time?
Yes, there would. At the moment, my predominant open times are looking to be Thursday, which would be until 10 p.m, which is 5 till 10 p.m, sorry. Friday, which is 2 p.m. until 11 p.m. Yes. Saturday, exactly the same. And Sunday would be 12 until, I haven't decided yet, it's either going to be between 6 and 7 p.m. I know that the business that previously ran on the premises did, on very regular occasions, open until 11 till 11:30 on a night time.
So, right, okay, so within that, obviously, so my thoughts are, and it's for the committee to decide, but that we looked at maybe to say 10:30 to be shut for 11. You would obviously have the facility to apply for 10s to extend for specific events. Would that be, if we were mindful to grant the application? We're also mindful that we don't want to be owners on a business and license a business and then for it not to be viable. So if we looked at it being 10:30 last drinks and finished up by 11 as a matter of course, would that be acceptable?
That is absolutely fine, yes.
We'll consider that in our deliberations. Does anyone else have any further questions? Over to Ken.
Who owns the car park to the rear?
There is no car park to the rear. Which part do you mean?
So there's a little snicket bit as you're driving up, I don't know what road it is, towards the Asda. On the right hand side on the maps is a car park behind it. I'm sure it says something about the parking to the rear of number 4 for accessibility.
I've got there is a designated parking area for the premises. All the signs are still up for that. That's the one highlighted in the yellow. There is obviously the large blue area is a local Asda car park, which is within short walking distance to the premises. And the green area is available parking in front of nearby shops. I know through the day this is busy with people attending local businesses. However, on an evening, it does tend to quieten down and it is empty. If you are referencing the almost like a dirt track behind the premises, I believe that's just council land. I don't think that's owned by anybody. It's just the rear and some front of properties. So some of the rear properties on Oaston Road, on Asken Road, and then behind there I think there's 2 or 3 houses actually at the top of that dirt path. So it's more of an access road rather than being, it's not an actual car park, but it is where residents do park.
So there'll be no parking there for the wine bar now?
No, I've already spoken to a woman who did initially put an objection in and said that I'm more than happy when my signage is drawn up for the premises to get them some no parking, access required at all times, because I know they did have an issue with the previous business that was there, which I fully understand they need access to. They don't, majority of the front of the Oaston Road street is double yellow line, so they can't park outside the house, so they do use the back. So I fully understand, and I've said, you know, I will get you some signs drawn up while I get it done, just so that people say, you know, it says you can't park here, access is required, especially for like blue badge holders and things like that. And I've also got a good relationship with them to say, you know, if you do have any problems, somebody is parked there, you can come and see me, we can ask them to move.
Do I have any further questions from anyone? No, no.
Just one little one.
Oh, yeah.
It says about like the music being like background noise. Will you work with council if there is any complaints to try and reduce that sound of the music for the adjoining houses?
I will, yes. Obviously, the background music is going to be tested with the gentlemen that live upstairs to ensure that they get no disturbance. If they're not receiving disturbance, there should be no disturbance to anybody else, including the adjoining property. I am also, in regards to working with the council, I do have a full CCTV system, but I am going to get an audio camera installed as well. This not only obviously protects residents, it also protects me against any false allegations regarding noise or anything.
Okay, thank you. So all parties that have an interest in the application that are officially here to speak about the application, we've now heard from them. We've obviously asked questions. So as I described at the beginning, we'll be going into private session to discuss the merits of the application and make a decision. And then we will call you back in when we've reached that decision. We're not going to be hours, but these things sometimes take a little bit longer than you think. We'll get back to you as soon as possible, and we'll call you back in when we're ready for you. So if everyone can leave the chamber, that would be great. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, that always took a little bit longer than we expected, but we got there in the end. So I've got our statement to read out, which will explain our decision and any conditions or reasonings. We have considered the application for a premise licence for 2 Houston Road, Carcroft, Doncaster. We have taken into account the written representations made, the evidence presented today, the steps that are appropriate to promote the licensing objectives, the Home Office guidance and our statement of licensing policy, and have decided to grant the application subject to an amendment of the timings for sale of alcohol and opening hours. The licence will authorise the sale of alcohol until 10:30 p.m. and require the premises to close at 11 p.m. This is considered necessary to promote the licensing objective of prevention of public nuisance. Furthermore, the licence will be subject to the conditions already agreed with South Yorkshire Police and listed at Appendix B of the bundle. In addition, the subcommittee has imposed the following conditions. Patrons permitted to temporarily leave and then re-enter the premises to smoke shall be restricted from using the area at the front of the premise as a designated smoking area. Notices to be displayed saying no smoking at the area to the front of the premises. Notices shall be prominently displayed at any area designated for smoking, requesting patrons to respect the needs of local residents and use the area quietly. These conditions are considered necessary in the interest of promoting the licensing objectives and the prevention of public nuisance. We have made our decision for the following reasons. The subcommittee heard from Francesca Napton that she wishes to open a small... Have I pronounced that right, by the way? Napton, yeah. Yeah, there was Napton, that she wishes to open a small elegant wine bar previously used as a small cafe which had a bring your own bottle policy. Miss Napton expressed that there has been an overall positive response from the community surrounding the opening. The subcommittee were concerned that the venue may attract crowds of people. In response, Miss Napton reassured the subcommittee that it expects a more mature customer base. There has been a largely positive response from the property to be used as a wine bar, for the property to be used as a wine bar. The previous owner hosted event evenings such as wreath making, which were extremely popular and which Miss Napton wishes to continue with those activities. The subcommittee questioned the use of smoking area and whether there would be the possibility to use another designated area for smoking. Ms Napton expressed that she is willing to discuss with residents as to where this is best placed for the smoking area. There is the possibility of using areas at the front of the premises, the rear of the premises, or another building where there is a toilet and store cupboard away from the main premises. Furthermore, the subcommittee raised the concerns of glasses being taken outside, but accepted that having plastic glasses would be impractical. The subcommittee were reassured, however, that there will be no seating in the smoking area, which will mitigate this concern. The committee further raised queries surrounding opening hours, noting that it is in the residential area. The applicant confirmed that an earlier closing time would be acceptable. We have also considered written objections, including an email sent to the City of Doncaster Council by an existing objector on the 27th of November 2024. In particular, we acknowledge the concerns raised in those written representations, namely concerns around noise, nuisance from patrons and the premises and music being played at the premises, and also the concerns around road safety on a busy crossroads. We've also noted the concerns around deliveries to the premises. The committee asked whether the applicant will work with the council to reduce noise in relation to music. The applicant said she is working with the council to have this tested to protect residents, particularly the residents living above the premises. She will also install CCTV cameras as required by the conditions already agreed. The committee noted in making their decision that there were no objections raised by any responsible authorities. Whilst the subcommittee members were sympathetic to the objectors' fears, we are satisfied that the conditions imposed, together with the applicant's commitment to work with the community, can successfully promote the licensing objectives. So, sorry if I stumbled in the odd place there on that, but you will receive that in writing, and that's our decision.
Members of the committee, sorry to interrupt, but may I just propose a small amendment that occurred to me whilst you were reading? In paragraph 3, it says require the premises to close at 11 p.m. Subject to the committee members' agreement, it may be better to say no later than 11 p.m.
That's fine.
Rather than a specific time.
Yeah, because otherwise you might have to stay open while 11.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's
it
fine.
just occurred to me as you read that.
That's acceptable to us, and I don't think it will affect what you want to do. So, obviously, you have had objections, and you will need to consider how you engage with the community going forward, and that will be a significant impact on whether the business is a success or not, and how well that you can, kind of rebuild the relationships there. And I will address the members of the public who have come along, just in the sense of all licences that are issued can be subject to review. So it's not a forever licence; it's for the licence holder to uphold the licensing conditions. So we obviously issue licences with the intent that people will stick to them, and I've no reason to think that this applicant won't. But there is recourse should it be required that a review of the licence takes place. So just so you have that reassurance. Given now that we have gone through the process, we have reached a decision, I would now like to thank everybody for their attendance and bring the meeting to a close. Thank you. Thank you.